There's someone I really want you to meet. His name is Paul de Gelder, and he's a man in a million. When you see what he's been through, I'm sure you too will marvel at his strength, his sheer lust for life. Paul was the Navy diver attacked by a shark right in the middle of Sydney Harbour. The shark took one of his hands and a leg, came within a centimetre of killing him, but it didn't take his spirit. For the last few weeks, I've been lucky enough to be with Paul as he reclaims his life. I thought I was in for a gruelling experience. I certainly didn't expect it to be much fun. That was before I met Paul de Gelder.
Are you excited?
I am. How about you?
Yeah, very excited. Can't wait.
It's not often you witness an act of fortitude as astounding as this.
You just try and try and try, and if you fail, you keep trying.
You ready to go?
Yeah, definitely.
Less than 3 months ago, Navy clearance diver, able seaman Paul de Gelder, hovered near death after a ferocious shark attack. He lost his right hand and leg. Today, he's back in the water for the first time, conquering his fear of the creature that so nearly killed him by confronting 9 very menacing-looking sharks at Sydney's Ocean World Aquarium. Wow, you can't put it any better. It's a spine-tingling moment, but this head-on approach to life's every challenge is probably why Paul de Gelder is alive today.
I don't know what drives me. I just know that I have to keep going. You make the choice as to whether you're going to do your best today or you're not going to try. It's all about that personal choice, and I choose every day to make sure that I've lived my life to the fullest.
Whoa. Mate, I don't know where to begin. That was amazing.
Were you comfortable down there?
Yeah, at some moments there, I've got to say, it was a little bit sketchy, but, it's hard to believe that something so placid as that would, turn into a raging man-eater.
Are you glad to be back in the water, even though it was difficult?
Yeah, I'm very glad to be back in the water. It's, it's where I feel most comfortable of all, even with these big sharks around.
I admire you greatly. There's one right there. How do you do?
Yeah, very well, yourself.
I've been lucky enough to watch Paul de Gelder's remarkable recovery since the attack.
So this is the Navy wing at St Vincent's.
We first met when he was still in hospital, and right away I knew he was something out of the ordinary.
The nurses freak out a little bit. They see me hopping around and, oh my God, what are you doing?
Paul doesn't dwell on what happened, and there's certainly no self-pity over his injuries, even looking back at the medical photos of the terrible damage.
I'm honestly just completely amazed that the doctors could save me.
The pictures are definitely not for the squeamish.
I don't know if you can see that. You can see the teeth marks in the leg.
My goodness. Oh, Paul. And there's only so much we can show. And you're comfortable looking at these?
Yeah, this is no problem.
But in one enormous bite, the bull shark ripped apart Paul's right hand and most of the back of his thigh.
It's taken nearly my whole leg.
It's extraordinary. It is extraordinary.
All of my hamstring is gone.
And where have they amputated?
They've amputated just above the knee there. They've cut it underneath, removed the knee, and just folded it all down. So now my hamstring's my calf. Calf's my hamstring.
At 31, Paul de Gelder has given almost a third of his life to the armed services. He spent 4 years as a paratrooper in the army and was a peacekeeper in East Timor. Then, 5 years ago, he qualified as a clearance diver, one of the toughest jobs in the Navy. Your sense of humour is getting you through. Who gave you the shirt?
Oh, we got it made up yesterday. Had to be done.
Is that a bull shark on the front?
Yeah, we typed into Google bull shark silhouette and that's what came up.
Paul and his mates have the camaraderie that comes with years of military training. Fit, disciplined and ready for anything. But nothing could prepare them for what happened here, in the shadow of Sydney skyscrapers, just metres from the protection of our Navy's firepower.
It was just over there, near the front of that ship. It's all a little bit nerve-wracking, really. Kind of wish I didn't come out that day, but you can't change the past, so best to look to the future.
So when you got in the water that morning off Garden Island, do sharks come into your mind at all?
Every time. There's sharks everywhere. You just put it to the back of your mind and try not to worry about it. It's you have an obligation, a role, a job that you have to get on with. So you don't let the things that scare you stop you from doing that.
But it was in your mind that morning.
Yeah, and then it was in my leg.
You say it with a sense of humour. At the time, I'm sure it wasn't like that at all. What do you remember?
Yeah, I remember it all.
It was about 6:30 on the morning of February 11 this year, and Paul and his team were testing equipment just offshore from Garden Island, the Navy's Sydney headquarters. Paul was making his way across the surface of the water, and in an awful instant, his life changed.
I was swimming on my back. I had my fins on and a wetsuit on, and I was just heading in a direction. Checked my direction, and when I got halfway back from turning around, I got hit in the leg and looked down, and there was a big toothy grin.
Can you still see that shark now?
Yeah.
What's it look like?
Grey, white, toothy and beady. That I've never seen a shark up close before. To see it like that was not something you expect. You look down and there's a big monster attached to you, and your mind goes into panic mode.
And where do you reckon the shark's head was in relation to your head?
Oh, it would have been half a metre away, 50 centimetres. I think we were pretty much staring eye to eye for about 3 or 4 seconds.
In one bite, it had taken
my whole hand and the whole back of my leg, yeah.
Can you tell me what that felt like?
It just felt like getting hit in the leg with a plank of wood. You don't feel the teeth go in or anything. I think the adrenaline, the panic probably puts a numb on the pain and you don't feel it.
Over here, go, look!
The few seconds in the grip of those savage jaws were the longest of Paul de Gelder's life. What happened next would mean the difference between life and death. For some reason, the shark let Paul go, and a split second later, his Navy mates came charging to the rescue.
So I've just flattened the boat, gone over to him, and pretty much the boys have just ripped him out of the water.
I don't remember saying too much, but I think I do remember punching him in the chest, and then seeing his eyes open, and then trying to physically just keep his eyes open.
Were you talking to him?
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Stay here, mate. Stay with us.
Paul's fellow clearance divers were the first of many to play a part in saving his life. But by the time they got him back to the wharf, he'd lost a huge amount of blood.
He was in one of his less lucid moments. He was pale and white, eyes were closed, and at that time I actually thought he was dead.
In fact, Paul was very close to it. By the time he reached St Vincent's Hospital, head of trauma Dr Tony Grabs says his life hung in the balance.
How close did he come?
Look, I think he came pretty close. He was lucky he did not have the major artery in his leg severed by the shark, and that was protected. I don't know how, but it was. But if that had occurred, I think he may have actually even died in the water.
Were you conscious when you arrived here?
Yes, I was conscious through the whole thing. I figured if I passed out, if I closed my eyes, and I'd die, so I didn't want that to happen.
Intensive care unit surgeons stopped the bleeding and Paul's life was saved again. But they couldn't save his hand and leg. Both were too badly mauled by the shark.
Hey Paul, you ready to go?
No, I'm not going in that.
He might have been wheeled into hospital, but Paul de Gelder won't be wheeled out. After 7 long weeks here, he's going home. And it's a great day for him and girlfriend Kim.
Can you take this?
Oh.
Thanks. Alright, you want to do the honours? There you go. Your new home.
Across town, the Navy has organised a new apartment. And even with all the boxes still to be unpacked, it's a relief to be home.
Oh, nice. Finally.
Not a hospital.
Not a hospital.
The Navy will also help with the next stage of his life, new limbs and intensive rehabilitation.
I've still got a job. They're giving me back a leg, giving me back a hand. So that's a big thing to help you get through it, knowing that you have the support there, whether it be work, family or friends.
And Paul has some amazing friends, like his lifelong mate Brock.
Get in, guys, the chef hates to see this stuff going cold.
He threw in his job as a chef, left his home up the coast and moved down to Sydney to cook and care for Paul.
Yeah, just keep him fit, keep him healthy, get him to the gym, keep us both motivated. We pretty much back each other up as far as that's concerned.
Did Brock ring you and say, I'm here to help?
I just woke up in hospital and he was there, and then he didn't leave.
Paul will eventually be fitted with a brand new bionic hand, like these ones. But today, it's his new leg he's seen for the first time.
This is it, eh? I'll squeeze some leg in. You push. There we go. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's a high-tech system where the leg receives instructions from a computer.
Are we going to go out and kick the footy after this?
You're going to learn to walk before we can run, eh?
And before long, Paul takes another step forward in his recovery.
That's beautiful. Very nice. Isn't that smooth?
My style's getting better, I guess.
A few days ago, I met up with Paul again. He's had his new leg for a couple of weeks now, and his recovery continues to amaze me.
Get out of bed and it's a bit of a struggle. It takes all your strength to sort of roll yourself out and get going in the mornings physically. Mentally, I just want to bound out of bed, go and have breakfast and run down to the water and go for a swim, but baby steps.
But Paul de Gelder is a man in a hurry, and walking is just the beginning.
I need you to do it up for me.
With his new leg and still only one arm, Paul must learn how to drive all over again.
That's it.
With a little help from a performance driving instructor.
Is that a nervous laugh?
This is just dangerous.
Good luck, mate.
So all we have to do is just release the brake slightly.
Paul begins just like any new learner driver, nervously.
Off the brake pedal, that's it.
But remember, this is Paul de Gelder. And the laws of caution that rule the rest of us
It goes like a bull.
just don't apply to this guy.
Whoops, look where you go, you're on the accelerator. Oh, look at it, Mr. Competitive, he's angry. Turn it in, turn it in, turn it in. Wait for it, gentle. Beat it now. Yes! 10 out of 10.
And you were nervous.
Yeah.
You look so confident out there.
Oh, mate, I'm just killing it.
How are you managing to drive?
One hand on the wheel, just like this. If I had the window down, it would have been like that.
Yet another challenge confronted and conquered. Each day, as the strength of his body grows to match that amazing strength of will, Paul sets himself higher goals. The ultimate, to get back to exactly where he was before the shark attack.
You plan on being a Navy clearance diver again?
I do. I never stopped.
So you're going to march up to work sooner rather than later in your Royal Australian Navy uniform
Yep.
and say reporting for duty.
That's the goal.
Would you dive in Sydney Harbour again?
Yep, that will be something that I'll have to do. It's going to be a tough bridge to cross, but you can't show weakness.
You can.
Not my job.